So I got the idea for this panel for media, it's platform or perish, when I was at Stanford last year as a night journalism fellow. And a lot of the other fellows were taking a class on platforms, and we'd done a lot of talking about media platforms. And I was very interested in how we would be able to understand from a curriculum environment and from a teaching environment what aspects of technology students needed to know to be working in professional media. And there is a range of skills in technology. And I wanted people to understand that we're not talking about building computers, we're not talking about working on networks. We are talking about the distribution platform that is the web and now mobile. And I wanted to define a little bit further what were some of the skills that people needed to have to understand that. So I wrote a piece for Neiman Journalism Lab last year, and basically the mantra in that piece was we work in tech. And I wanted people to understand that we, as media professionals and journalism students, work in organizations that are very much like Twitter or Facebook or Google or Apple. And we're not siloed off, we're not different than those particular organizations. It's not that news organizations are these separate animals any longer. My point is that a media organization's business is their platform. If you can't do it on your platform, you can't do it. If your content management system doesn't support the ability for users to comment or to share on a social network, or if you are hoping to allow outside people to publish articles on your site, if your platform doesn't handle that or doesn't handle it well, it's probably not going to happen. And so that means you can't do it as part of your business. So the platform, the ways in which you represent your content and the ways in which it's distributed, that is a media organization's business. And if we're not taking that seriously, if you're having to work in 2 or 3 different content management systems and you're having to do little fixes to make these things work, then that's not going to be a natural part of your business, and it's not going to have a reasonable flow. And as I said, it's not going to allow people to share and engage with your content in the ways that it needs to be.
The CMS is basically the Constitution, right? I mean, you can alter it, but it takes a little bit of time, and it's the foundation upon which all future content can be made, right? Like, editorial decisions about words, for example, are important, but they're moot if you don't have a CMS through which you can publish, right? It really is the foundation. It's the constitution of an organization in terms of its product, I should say. It's the constitution of its product, not necessarily its editorial content, but its product. But product is very important, right? That's the look and feel of how people interact with your content, right? The organization that creates platforms has power over those platforms, has power over the CMS. And I think it's important that there be organizations like Vox or Medium, etc., that have good content writing and journalism at its core so that it instills those values into the CMS.
Well, I'm just really excited to talk with Dave and Trey and just to have a good conversation about how they see the future of platforms. But I also want to tease out a little bit more about what we can bring into journalism curriculum so that I can let students know what they need to know to be able to get jobs and to be able to have the most value that they're going to add in their careers. Do these organizations need people who can work in code, who can create data visualizations? What kinds of perspectives on the competitive environment should they have? So I'm hoping through the conversation that we have at South by Southwest, I'll be able to bring back some ideas to my faculty and to our curriculum.
I think it's more just about the appreciation between the relationship between product and content, and how the two are somewhat indistinguishable nowadays, right? Um, if you work on editorial, you have to be thinking about product, and the CMS directly, feeds into that, and vice versa.
I hope that people will recognize that they do work in technology. Just about any kind of a media field you're in, you really can't avoid the fact that technology is disrupting what's being done, that technology is a big part in how what you're doing is distributed, again, how things are shared, how people engage with it. And so if we start this conversation to get everyone comfortable with the fact that they're part of the technology industry, they are being influenced by the technology industry, and the technology industry is driving any of the innovation in the future, then that's what I hope people will get from this panel.